moment as I go live on Facebook. It'll be just a minute before we get started. Hope you're doing well. And let's take a look. I think we are live on Facebook. Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. I'm Sami Abu Saad, Director of Education at T3 Live. I hope you're doing well, and hope your weekend is off to a good start. We're gonna go ahead and get started by taking a look at the market, and we'll take a look also at the at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at some swing ideas for next week. But before I get started, I need to share with you, to go over with you, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. All right, so make sure you agree to that before proceeding with today's video. With that out of the way, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. I think the picture should be all clear. I want to talk about the market. The Qs is, that's the NASDAQ 100. The SPY also is on fire, of course, everybody knows that. We don't have any acceleration. We are extended away from the 20 MA on the daily chart of the Qs, but we don't have any acceleration. What's acceleration? Actually, we're going to talk about it when we get to BLDP and GSX, which are, notice how the stock starts to go vertical, all right? Actually, Beyond did that last week, and I called it short at the top, right? Up, up, up. Notice how vertical. Tesla, which I'm actually in short, but I'm looking to add to the position. Accelerated, not a ton, but accelerated a little bit. BLDP is a better example. GSX, even better, I would say. So that's what acceleration means, is when the market starts to go vertical, or the stock starts to go vertical, and you start to get these wide range bars away from the moving average, big volume also. That's when the market is usually nearing a top. But as long as it's printing narrow range bars, and not wide range bars, and it's just grinding, going at the same speed. See this? That's the same angle, the same speed. It can last forever. I mean, it can just keep going, and that's why I always say it's foolish to try and pick the top when the market is grinding up. In fact, a couple weeks ago, I said we might have a head and shoulders here, right? Remember, a couple weeks ago. How did that work? Didn't work. So I try my best not to pick the top when the market is just grinding up. I do like to pick the top when the market accelerates, of course, but for now the bias should remain bullish and should remain the same as before. Just bullish, but after the open we don't really move very much. In fact, last couple days we didn't go anywhere after the open until the afternoon, and then we popped. Last 2 days didn't go anywhere at all after the open, and then we popped into the close. So bullish bias still. Here's the weekly, starting to, we're starting to get some decent size, healthy, big bars. Monthly, 4 months in a row now, up. If we continue at this rate, we will accelerate. If we continue at this rate. Why? Because people will not be able to stand the thought of not being long the market or stocks, and they'll start to all rush in at the end, and which would create the climactic move, and we will have a blow off top. You don't want that, trust me. If you're for a healthy pullback, you don't want to blow off top, because when you get a blow off top, you get a collapse. So again, if we continue at this rate, we will probably accelerate. It won't continue to be narrow range bars, because at some point people would start to say again, oh my God, I better get in it. Late, but better late than never. And they all start to rush in, and that's usually the last batch of buyers. So you want to see pullbacks, and we're not really seeing pullbacks yet. So we'll see. But market remains the same. Bitcoin, I'll go ahead and give you an update. I called Bitcoin long 2-3 weeks ago when it was right here. I think a couple weekends ago, so not last weekend, the weekend before. When it was just at the base. I have 1.5 coins. I wasn't able to add. I wanted to add. Maybe I should have added at 8,200 right here, but I didn't add, and now it's too late to add up here. This is the daily chart of Bitcoin. So not the right time to be getting in it. If you took it a couple weeks ago, as I showed you live, how I did it, just right here. Nice. Okay, very nice. Again, I think I made a mistake by not adding at 8200, but for now, if you're not in, look for a pullback, and then maybe off the rising 20 can look to add. I'll be with you every step of the way. Hopefully, it'll give us a pullback and we'll look to add. Bitcoin looks really good. We got a monthly, let me show you the monthly real quick. Monthly buy setup here. See that's a monthly buy setup. That's a monthly chart. This is on logarithmic, so this is arithmetic now. So it looks higher to maybe 12,000, 14, and eventually I'm bullish on Bitcoin long term. Eventually, I don't see a reason why it shouldn't get back up to the top. Notice when you get a blow off top, that's what I mean. The stock or the market goes vertical. Now, in the case of Bitcoin, it was unbelievable. Of course, it went from zero, from $10 to $20,000, and look at that vertical move up. So the collapse was also pretty severe. It went from 20,000 to 3,000. Does that make sense? So, but that's what you don't want to see in the market unless you're hoping for a really long-term sell-off, which I am, because I'm a bearish guy just by naturally a bearish person. So I like bearish markets a lot. They bring more volatility. And if you know how to read the charts, you should be able to read them when they're bearish and downtrending. It's the same. Really is the same. But at any rate, Bitcoin, again, next target would be between probably 12 to 14, and then eventually I don't really see why it shouldn't go all the way back up to 20,000, but that's premature to talk about it right now. We're far from going back up there. This is Bitcoin. Here's LTC. I think they're all the same. All the 5 major currencies, or cryptocurrencies, I should say. This is Litecoin, the big 5, right? Litecoin is pretty much the same as Bitcoin, identical. Ether, let's see, why is it not ETH? ETH, oh, it auto completes, that's what's going on. ETH USD, and there it is. It's the same, slightly stronger than Litecoin and Bitcoin also. And then Bitcoin Cash, I think, has been by far the strongest. Oh my God, look at Bitcoin Cash, guys. Bitcoin is at the 200 MA. Ether is at the 200 MA. Litecoin is at the 200 MA. This went way above the 200 MA. In fact, it went up 100% above it, from like 260 to 400, almost 100%. So Bitcoin Cash is by far the strongest. And then the last one is Ripple, XRP, which I think is the weakest actually. Yeah, it hasn't even reached the 200 period moving average. So Ripple is actually the weakest. The company Ripple, I have a friend who works at that company. They're doing really well. They're based in San Francisco. But the cryptocurrency, their cryptocurrency, isn't. In this case, it's not like the stock and the company. They're completely separate. So the cryptocurrency for Ripple is completely separate from the company itself, Ripple. Okay? At any rate, same bias on all of them. Look for a pullback. Once we get the pullback, then we will look for a buy setup. Okay? Problem is, sometimes strong stocks, strong cryptocurrencies, they don't pull back, which is why I said I think I might have made a mistake by not adding to my position on Bitcoin over $8,200 right here on the breakout, because sometimes they don't even pull back. That's the issue. So hopefully it will pull back and give us an entry. I have a lot of swing ideas for next week. A lot of shorts. I scanned last night and I noticed that we have a lot of shorts setting up. Let me show you what I got for Monday, and let's see what we like. ASRT. This is called the transition A on the daily chart. So the stock was in a downtrend, and then based a little bit, and then it's transitioning, going back up a little bit. So this looks higher to me, but it's not a very tight base. So that's the issue. Otherwise, I like it. Over the base, target right here. I played the NVAX yesterday, but I made a mistake. I got out a little too soon. As a day trade, actually, I got it. And I liked it as a swing, as a transition A. See how it was transitioning? But again, I really mismanaged it. And in the after hours, it was gapping to 615. I was already out. So it went up 29% yesterday. At any rate, ASRT is a transition A. CHS had a beautiful gap up that just gapped a little too much over a wide range red bar, and now has a base breakout. So I like it a lot, with one minor exception, which is the monthly. That's an all-out downtrending monthly. When you're swing trading, you want harmony across the board. You want the daily, the weekly, and the monthly to be saying bullish. Now, the monthly doesn't have to be really bullish, but it needs to be well below that declining 20 MA. So in this case, you know, the declining 20 MA is not far above on the monthly. So that's the only thing that would keep me away from playing the CHS long. And then again, the entries right here. I don't try to give you the exact price because it takes time, because I'd have to go over here and see what the high is. In this case, it's 426. So 1 penny above 427. Okay, where's the stop? 1 penny below the base. So you figure it out if you want. Okay, but where's the stop? Just 1 penny under 412. So 411. Got it? But 1 penny above, 1 penny below. For the most part, sometimes when the stock is a little spready or thin, I may give it 3 to 5 cents above, but if it isn't, I just give it 1 cent. ICE looks higher. It has a breakout on the weekly. It already broke out on the weekly chart. It breaking out on the monthly, all-time highs. So I like it a lot. And then on the hourly chart, we do have a base breakout. So long right here, stop right here. Okay? So again, same here. What's the entry? Over the all-time high, over 97.05. What's the stop? Under this base, so under 95.50, 57, but give it a little bit because it's a $95 stock. So that's ICE. I like ICE a lot. I'm probably going to be playing it, just hint hint. Okay, if you're in the strategic swing trader, if you're a subscriber, feel free to log on to your account right now, and you'll see which ones I am going to be playing on Monday morning. Okay, you'll see which ones I picked from this list. Obviously, I'm not going to play. How many do I have on the list? 20. I'm not going to play 20, but I am going to be playing a handful on Monday. I forgot to go over the save. Save is a 1, 2, 3. Looks higher, transitioned on the daily chart, but this bar is too big to put the entry, to use as an entry and a stop. So that's the 1, 2, 3 pattern, is you put the stop under this bar's low, but if it's too big, then it creates, you know, it gives you a big stop. SKT is a beautiful buy setup. So the entry for this would be over 15.54. Stop would be under 15.25. 30 cent stop on the SKT. Target the 200 MA. I like it. It's just a buy setup. A top is a transition A on the daily chart with a 1, 2, 3, 4 setup. So right here long, stop right here. Target on this would be the declining 20, which is not too far above at 11 bucks, but it still has 2 to 1 reward to risk at least. Weight Watchers has a buy setup. Came from a square top though. See that's a square top. We like V tops. They have less resistance, less supply. Long, stop right here. On the WW, I'm going to be passing on the WW. YCBD is a low price stock, but I don't really care about the price of the stock. As you can see, ICE is 95 bucks. I'm going to be playing it if it triggers. YCRB is a $1 stock. I don't care. All I care about is the pattern. And I like this pattern. Long over the base. You can see the nice base on the hourly chart. Stop below it right here. Okay, so I like it. YCRB. The longs are okay, but the shorts are much better. The only thing about the shorts that concerns me a little bit is the market. The market may still have you know, another up week next week. Probably will, unless we accelerate or we gap down. But barring a gap down or acceleration, we might have another up week, in which case we would be playing against the market by shorting. AXSM, I missed the top right here as a kind of a climactic short, and it got to target already, the rising 20s, and now this has a lower high. It's not bad right here, short, stop right here. Okay, on the AXSM, not bad, but it's not great. BA, I don't like BA. It doesn't have a setup, but I'm here to tell you that BA is unbelievably bearish. Boeing is very bearish. If it were any other stock, I think, and had as much negative news as it did, it'd be down here already, 200 bucks. But this is a huge breakout failure on the monthly chart of Boeing, huge. And so now we have a breakdown. So Boeing should be lower. It's just that Boeing has almost no competition. and the barrier to entries are huge when it comes to the airline industry. I mean, you'd have to be a multi-billion corporation to even embark on, to even just start making planes. So there's only one competition for it, one competitor in the whole world, and that's Airbus. But Boeing looks horrible. I wouldn't even think about touching that stock. Long. Triple BY is a sell setup on the daily chart. That's Bed Bath & Beyond. It's pretty good, but I don't like them to take out usually the gap, the bar where it gapped, right? The high that bar. So it's above it. So it's a little strong. Entry for this would be under the red bar's low, stop above it. So that's a sell setup on the triple BY. I like it with one little issue, which is the relative strength, or the strength. It's showing a lot of strength. The boom looks lower, but it's very sloppy. Otherwise, it actually looks quite lower, quite bearish. Under the base, stop above it. Monthly buy setup failed, it triggered and failed. So it looks lower, but it's extremely sloppy. So none of these are my picks yet. BTU, this is coal, looks definitely lower. Basing at the all-time lows, as you can see, it always drops. I mean, it's been dropping for almost 2 years now, a year and a half. No reason to think it bottomed. When a stock bases at the lows, it means it's lower still, right? It's only when the stock accelerates that you should start to think, okay, maybe it bottomed. Or when it gaps down a huge amount, like the ANAB did. Let me show you. ANAB, for example. I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one I played. You see how it gapped down a huge amount after being in a severe sell-off for 2 years. Then you can start to think, okay, maybe that's the bottom, and you play it long. So when it gaps down after being down for so long, or when it accelerates. But if a stock is basing at the lows, what does that mean? Lower still, okay? Beyond looks good short on the hourly chart, on the BYND. I honestly, I called the top right at the top here on the day that it gapped. This was a tier 1 novice gap. But I'm not in it, and it does look lower, but I'm probably not going to touch it because it's just off it's setting up only on the hourly chart, not on the daily. I don't like it on the daily. CDL, and I have so many other things that I like more, so why go with something that is mediocre, right? CDLX is climactic. Look at the monthly, vertical. Look at the weekly. If it didn't gap, it would be 5 times as good. I mean, it would be a lot better if it didn't gap and there were bars here instead of a gap, because when you gap, you don't use up any buyers, so you don't it doesn't exhaust the buyers when it gaps, right? But if the stock, it doesn't use up fuel, but if the stock is trading up rather than gapping up like here or here, then you're using up the buyers, and eventually every stock runs out of buyers. There are only a limited amount of people that are willing to invest in the stock. So I like it short. Right here, short, stop right here. Okay, on the CDLX as a potential top. This could be the long-term top on CDLX because it went a little climb. It did. So far, none of these is something that I absolutely love, but they're all okay. Goose looks good short. It's a daily sell setup. So short under this bar is low under the hourly base. Stop above it right here. Looks good. I like it. Goose is also on my long-term watch list as a short, so I like it. LJPC is like Beyond, is also like CDLX. It's a climactic move up and is rolling over on the hourly chart. This looks cleaner than the CDLX, but not as good on the daily and the weekly charts. Okay, the LJPC. It looks cleaner than BYND, than Beyond. Short, stop. Okay, on the LJPC. The PTLA gapped down a significant amount, like 40-some%, and now has a sell setup on the hourly chart. Not on the daily, but on the hourly. Right here, short, stop right here. Okay, it already put in a lower high right here, lower than the previous high. So I like it. It looks good. QD had a gap down a couple days ago. I played it in the strategic day trader room, and now has a 1, 2, 3. So I definitely like it short under this bar's low, under 344. QD. Roku, your favorite stock, looks lower. Okay, not higher, lower. On the weekly, it's turning bearish. Now, is this the best idea I got? No, it's not. At least not on the daily. It's not the best idea, but it looks lower on the weekly on Roku. All right. Now, I try to stay away from stocks with a lot of cult following, like the Roku does, like a cult following almost, but it does look lower. SERV is a base breakdown on the daily chart. Very sloppy because it already broke down right here, printed that, and then it turned into a bottoming tail. So it printed a bottoming tail bar. But if we negate this, if we negate this big green bar right here on the hourly chart, guess what? It is probably going to be lower. So I like a short under the base, stop right here, okay? On the SERV. SLDB is a sell setup. I was in it for a couple of days right here, maybe 3 days, and I'd like to get back in it because it has a weekly sell setup. Looks beautiful on the weekly chart. Looks beautiful. So I like it short under 75, I think, 375. Right here, stop right here. Okay, so SLDB. TGT had a bearish gap down, and I like it lower. It's not bad. I mean, I like the daily a lot. The only issue is, you see the space? That's support, so it doesn't have a ton of room. Short right here, stop right here, okay? On the TGT. So that's the only issue, is it doesn't have a lot of room. The moving average also on the hourly chart is starting to point up. So it crisscrossed it. We want to see it come back down and short right here, stop right here. Okay, on the TGT. Next on the list is Tesla. Tesla went climactic, and now has a sell setup on the hourly chart. Actually, I'm in the Tesla, but I covered 40 shares. I had 100. You know what? I have the platform open. Yeah, I had 150 shares. Here it is. I covered 40. So I have 110. And I still have, I covered 40, I still have 110. It's up $3,000, by the way, so it's already good, working, but I'd like to add to it under this bar's low, under 503, under 503. Stop would be above the base. Okay, on Tesla, target would be about 475 or so, that rising 20. So I do like the Tesla short, all right, looking to add to it personally. Twilio, or TWLO, is a transition C on the hourly chart. Notice the breakout failure right here. A lot of people say, oh, that's head and shoulders. It's just a breakout failure right here, and then a breakdown. So short, stop. Now Twilio, we would be going against the monthly because the monthly has a buy setup. I made a mistake not playing it because it was on my monthly watch list, on my long-term core watch list, but I didn't do it. And so the same exact thing happened with the Zen. Same exact thing. So, but now I like, and I think Zen is probably looking lower on the daily. So this looks lower just for, you sneak in and out for just a few days, because the monthly and the weekly are bullish. So you'd be short right here, stop right here, and look for it to pull back to the rising 20, wherever that may be by the time it gets down there. It could be at 110, could be, who knows. But Twilio looks lower. And then UI is a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 actually on the daily chart of UI. Looks lower under this bar is low, stop above bar number 2. So that's bar number 1, 2, 3, and then on Tuesday, not Monday, Tuesday. Market is closed on Tuesday. We could have see a continuation. I like it. I think this topped out, probably topped out. Look at the monthly. Vertical also on the UI. Now, it would have been nicer if we had gotten in it somewhere here when it was starting to transition lower, but I didn't. I had it on the list for a couple of days, but it was extremely wild, so I didn't do it. And then last but not least is X as a short under the base right here. So it looks good. X looks really, really bearish. Problem with the X is we have support below, but X looks horrible. I mean, it looks really, really bearish. I did the AA. This is steel, but this is aluminum. Did the AA as an earnings play last week and worked. I mean, this just a couple of days ago. Worked, and it actually has a 1, 2, 3. It's not too bad as a 1, 2, 3 AA. So I think X is gonna follow suit. It's gonna also collapse or break down under the base right here. So I like it. And then these last two, if you're still with me, it's been I've been going. That's a lot of short watches. These are climactic watch items. So the best way to do it is not off the daily, but off the intraday. Meaning, if they accelerate on the intraday charts, you try to catch it at the top, and then if it triggers on the daily, you can look to add to it. Exactly what I did with the Tesla, right? Exactly what I did with Tesla. You try and catch it at the top, and then later on, like on Tuesday, if this breaks down, I'm looking to add to it. So you try and add to it later on, but the best way to do it is to catch it on the intraday time frames, on the 5 or the 15-minute chart. And the same with the GSX. I mean, GSX is, look at that, vertical, totally amazing. So I like it short, but this one is a bit wild. I mean, like spready and wild. It's liquid enough. It does, it does a lot of volume per day. It did 3 million shares on Friday. It did 5.5 on Thursday. So, liquid enough. And I think the BLDP is just as liquid, if not more. Yeah, it did almost 7 million on Friday. So it should be, they're pretty liquid. Both of them are pretty liquid. All right, I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. We talked about the market. We said it's more of the same, basically, just to grind up, watch for that acceleration. If we get it, then that should put a top. But for now, it's just grinding up. We talked about Bitcoin. We said it's too late to be getting in right now. It's you should have gotten in 2 weekends ago when we talked about it live. But now we can watch for a pullback. We talked about the swing ideas. I said the longs are better in terms of they're with the market, but they're not as the long watches are not as good. Direction wise, you'd be playing long in a bullish market, which is great, but the watches are not as good. The shorts are much better, but the shorts would be going against the market. So be careful, be picky. Try to play things that are on their own page, that are not necessarily following the market. Okay. And I think that will do it for this week. If you enjoyed this video, if you found benefit in it, please be sure to hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. And also check out the links in the description. Earnings season just started last week. The first week is always, every single quarter, always slow. This last week was actually unusually slower than usual, slower than usual for sure. So I'm hoping next week will be awesome, will be great, and the week after that will be even better. So if you'd like to check out what I do in the strategic day trader, if you're a day trader, or in the strategic swing trader, if you're a swing trader, links are in the description. I dropped a link for a video on how I made $87,000 in 1 day, real money, after commission, after everything, $87,000. That was late last year. So check it out in the description below. And if you have any questions, send an email to info@t3live.com. Okay, info@t3live.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you on Tuesday after the market close. We'll do our usual video. If you're in the strategic swing trader, we're gonna have the coaching on Monday. I know the market is closed, but we'll still go ahead and do the coaching session on Monday. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy the holiday weekend, basically a 3-day weekend, and I will talk to you next week. Take care.